I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to episode number 39 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
I mean, where to begin? So we talked about, like, if we wanted to record an episode this week, because it's been, like, a horrific week in Vienna, where we live. And everything else that's going on in the world, you know? I mean, it's just this entire year has been absolutely shit. But my thoughts on this, like, I'm like, let's just have fun and just talk about movies that we saw or anything. Because if we can't do that, then, I mean, you know, we got to find some way in order to, like, or we got to find some way to get our minds off of the terrible things and just talk about some bad movies instead. You know?
What do you mean bad movies? Some great movies.
Well, I got some bad movies this week.
All right.
So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that it's been just a horrific week, and we just want to maybe, you know, provide some sort of entertainment if we can, and I mean for each other as well, I guess, right?
Yeah. It's been a weird week, but I guess this is not what this podcast is about, and
well, no, but
we're still, I don't know. It's good to talk about normal things because I think all the news has been rattling around everybody's brain the last couple of days. So
yeah. So the question "How have I been?" is a bit like I don't know. Yeah, pretty you know, pretty shocked and pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same, but.
What about the things you watched? Have you watched a lot of things? Yeah, have you watched?
I feel more comfortable and more qualified to talk about that. Than
what do you mean qualified? It's I'm just asking you how you've been. You know?
Yeah, well, pretty. I think appropriate for the time.
Sure. No, but let's talk about some of the stuff that we've seen. I mean, we talked about it on last week's episode that we saw, or that we were going to see one other festival film together. I think it was one, right?
Yes, but it ended up being technically two. Because
right, but we didn't see them together. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the films that you said we were gonna see together turned out that we saw them apart, like one day apart, and then you last minute asked me if I want to go watch a film.
Right.
Which we saw together.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But apart from that, how many things have you seen this week? Has it been a good week in terms of watching stuff? Like
I've seen
fictional stuff?
I've seen 3 films during the Vienna Film Festival. 2 of which you've seen, one of which you haven't seen, and one other thing that's been out.
I mean, I know what it was. I told you in the last episode as well. I'm just interested in what your pick is going to be. Because for me, it was a tough decision this week. Like, I'm still not quite happy with my pick, but it's one of those weeks, yeah.
It's not the thing that I thought it was going to be for you, because I know it is one film that we both saw,
sure,
not together, that I assumed was going to be your pick because, I don't know, it's an amazing picture, and I know what a fan you are of the leading actress.
An amazing picture.
Yeah.
Now you sound qualified. This is what you can talk about.
I watched a lot of BoJack Horseman lately.
Seen the pictures lately. Holding up the newspaper. So, yeah, it's your turn to start. And as always, I feel like we should wait with our picks till the end. And I have no idea what your pick is going to be. Well, I think I know what your pick is going to be, but I don't know. We obviously don't discuss our picks. And if you're new to this show, what we do is we pick the one best newly released thing that we've seen all week. But before we get to that pick, we also talk about some of the bad stuff or some of the runner-ups that we had as our, like, that we could have had as our picks if we hadn't seen something else. So, yeah, we got a lot to discuss because I saw a lot of things this week. But it's your turn to start. So, please.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we've seen together, and one thing that I think is not going to be a pick for either of us, is Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's start off by talking about Shirley. What did you think of
I got nothing to say to this movie. I want you to start. I was happy that you're the one who starts off this week because I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. No,
What do you mean you get nothing? I mean, we saw the film together.
Sure. I mean, it was late. It was boring, and I got nothing, dude. I don't know what to say. What was this movie about? It's about a
real life author. It's about a real life story, but the question is, what is real in this film? Kinda.
Well, kind of. I mean, we talked about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I guess it is. Some of that hasn't even crossed my mind. I was just like, mate, that's all of it is real. But then at the end, it's difficult not to give things away. But I would never recommend this movie. So
yeah, me neither.
But it stars Elizabeth Moss, who, apart from her Scientologist beliefs, I don't know if that's correct or whatever, right? But I don't know why I said it. It doesn't matter. I like her.
Church of Scientology.
Yeah.
So.
I like her as an actress. I really do. And we talked about her before on one of our, I think the last regular episode in terms of like being in the same room together when we talked about The Invisible Man.
Yeah, right.
Which is one of the, well, still one of my favorite movies that I saw this year. I mean, it won't like make my top 10, or I don't think, but I like, it won't make it. No. But I like her as an actress. I really do. And over the last couple of years, she's been in some very interesting movies. And Shirley, I mean, it is about her as you said, she's an author, and her husband is played by Michael Stuhlbarg, who is great, especially also in recent years in Call Me by Your Name. He was the dad of Timothée Chalamet, or in The Shape of Water he was in, or many other things. And yeah, she sort of like finds inspiration to write when a young couple moves in to sort of help out around the house, because, well, the girlfriend, or the wife, I think it's the wife, right? She's sort of there to help out around the house while the husband is at university with the husband of Shirley. It's a bit confusing. I don't know what I'm just saying, but you know what I mean? Yeah. What did you think of it? I didn't like it. I mean, I thought it was, Okay.
I very much agree with what you said. It was quite boring, and I think the most interesting part, but also very hard to watch part of the film, was just how dysfunctional the family is. The couple.
Yeah.
Shirley and her husband. And I think that part was played quite well, but apart from that, it was just such a drag, and I didn't know what to be waiting for. And to be honest, you wait for nothing.
Right.
At the end of the movie, I mean, sure, a couple of characters develop and a couple of things change, but I didn't know what to expect or what to wish for or what to... I don't know. I just sat there and just let it happen. Was like, all right, when is this going to be over?
Yeah. I mean, I liked, as I said, I liked the performances, especially Elizabeth Moss and Michael Stuhlbarg, but that's about it. I'm not going to watch that movie ever again in my life.
I completely agree. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody, and I think I would have forgotten about it pretty much immediately if I didn't write it down so we can talk about it for the podcast. But I haven't talked to anybody about this film, and I think I never will.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Let's move on, yeah. All right.
I'll throw out some things that you haven't seen and that are not going to be my picks. So I went to the Biennale a couple more times as well, and I saw one double feature which was The Human Voice, which is a new short film by Pedro Almodóvar. There it is. It reminds me of El Secreto de sus Ojos.
Sorry.
So that was the reason that we watched that movie, because Almodóvar is a great director, and he made a new short film with Tilda Swinton, like 30 minutes long. And that was sort of combined with a movie called Intimate Distances, which I thought was very appropriate for today's Corona times. But that was like a 60-minute movie, so that was a bit of a weird one. It wasn't like a short movie, but it wasn't like a regular movie either. And what I'm going to say, The Human Voice, it stars Tilda Swinton, and it's basically just her in her weird, I don't know, in an apartment that is sort of built on a soundstage, and then it's her like on the phone the entire time. She goes, like, the movie starts off and she goes out and she buys an axe because she has like a suit. Basically, it's her husband or her boyfriend or whatever, he left her and he's not calling back anymore. And then she sort of goes out and buys an axe and then sort of goes to town on his suit that he left. So he just like cuts into the suit. But then he calls her, and then the movie's like them talking to each other, and you basically only see Tilda Swinton. And Tilda Swinton, one of the great actresses as well, but it wasn't enough for me to sort of like love that movie. It was fine. I thought it was better than Shirley. It was interesting. It looked cool. That whole like sound staging thing sort of lent to some great shots because they were able to like film from the top as well, like from like a bird's eye view of the apartment. But that's about it. And the ending was just completely weird as well. But intimate. Yeah, go on.
I thought it was interesting that you went to watch a short film, that you actually looked for a short film, because I think whenever I visited the Biennale website, which wasn't as often, I guess, as you, but I always just look for the features, which are way more interesting to me. It never even crossed my mind to be like, all right, are there any good short films? So did you just search for the short film, that specific one, because you knew the director, or did you just regularly look through the short films and see whatever interests you?
Dude, it's my favorite time of year. I want to watch things that interest me. And Pedro Almodovar was the director. It's like, I'm watching that for sure.
But I've never pegged you for a person that watches short films. I don't think
you've definitely never pegged me. Make that clear.
Well, I don't think we've ever talked about you watching short films. Oh, well, very rarely when it's like a short film by Damien Chazelle. So that's why I was interested in. Did you look for the short film because of the director, or did you go through the short film page?
I don't even know anymore. I think I saw the movie in the flyer folder program, and then I looked it up. So Pedro Almodovar, and then I realized that it was a short film. I think that was the way it was.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, I'm just a more sophisticated moviegoer than you do. I mean, you got to pay some attention to the
Didn't want to call you out
shorts.
or anything.
Yeah. What do you mean I'm calling you out. What do you mean you're calling me out? But the other one, the movie that was, it was funny because we saw this in a very, very small cinema at the Film Casino, which you mentioned quite a bit. And you could see that like once the movie was over, because it started off with The Human Voice, the short film, so many people left. They didn't even give the second one a shot, you know? They all just came to see the first one, because the second one, very strange movie. And I gotta say, I've never seen more people leave during a screening than, or since I saw the movie Climax at the Biennale a couple of years ago. The Gaspar Noé film, many people left that movie. And so they did on Intimate Distances. I saw this with a friend of mine, you know him, Simon. And we had a great time. Literally, we were like, I was a bit concerned as to like, maybe he wants to leave too, because it was sort of, you could consider this boring or whatever. And I was just, I liked it a lot. It's such a strange movie because it's sort of like a social experiment where a woman just goes around the street of New York, I think. And you see that like the camera is super, super far away, like almost hidden or whatever. And then it just zooms in and out of different people. And you have a very weird narration as well of like an ex-convict or someone who is still in jail. I have still not quite figured out why that narrator is in that movie. But it just sort of focuses on this main woman all the time, basically. Well, not all the time, but it keeps zooming in and out of people, but then you always come back to that woman, and then you hear her because I think she has a microphone attached to her, and then she just approaches different people, and then she always asks them the same question. She's like, "Do you have a couple of minutes? I just want to ask you something." And a lot of people actually talk to her because she's like an innocent old little lady or whatever, a charming old lady, and she always asks them like, have you ever gone down a certain path in life, but then you ended up on a completely different one? And how did that make you feel? Right? Which every person sort of has done that. And then they just tell her sort of her life story. And she meets random people, some of them like very down in life and very appreciative of the fact that they're able to talk about it with someone. Other people are just like, yeah, I'll just talk to her, and that just like weirded out why this person is approaching them. But that's the movie, man. It's 60 minutes of that. You just zoom in and out, and then it just zooms into a different person, and then the lady comes and talks to that person. And it's very random. It's not scripted or anything. It's just an experiment.
So more like on the lines of Borat or Under Skin.
I would not compare this to Borat.
No, but it is a mixture of people playing characters and involving real people.
Right. But she's not even playing a character. She's just asking questions, you know? It's more like a documentary in that. I don't know. Yeah. It's like a social experiment. Yeah. It's weird. A lot of people left. But for some reason, I thought it was quite interesting.
I also have to say, I think... I guess I've never noticed it, but I've never seen so many leave the theater like I did during this year of the Biennale. I don't think I guess I didn't notice it the last couple of years, but...
Well, they rarely... Where did they leave?
During one of the films we're going to talk about, Nomadland, and I think... I don't know
just threw
which
that movie
film
out.
it was.
No one just understood what you said, but I picked up the reference. During Nomadland, people walked out?
I think so. Or during another film, maybe one we watched together even.
Okay.
I think so. Maybe they just went to the bathroom, I guess, but I've never thought of anybody leaving during the Biennale because I guess it is a festival and people go there because they're so interested in the films that it seems weird to me that you wouldn't sit it out.
Well, a lot of people, first of all, I didn't realize, or I didn't feel like a lot of people left during this year's festival, but maybe I just didn't realize, but
I mean,
they rarely do.
Like if 2 or 3 people leave, I think it's weird.
Well, but at film festivals, a lot of people just give movies a shot, you know? They don't necessarily, like, read through the synopsis. They're like, I have time here. They have limited time. I want to go and watch that movie at that time slot. And then they realize it's not something they're interested in. It's just a different way of approaching movies.
Maybe. I mean, if they want to do it that way, I guess. But just because this year's Biennale had even fewer people in one room, it seems even weirder that those people who actually got the tickets would then just leave. But
it surprises me that you said on Nomadland that people left, because I was at a screening
very
that
few
was
people, but still, like,
we had such a huge line up front because it was so jam packed. There was not a single seat open, I think, and no one left them. I don't think. But anyway, let's talk about what else won't be your pick.
Yeah, what is not going to be my pick is, I'm going to say it straight up, The Queen's Gambit. It's the one thing that I've seen apart from
oh my God,
the Vienna Film Festival.
If your pick is going to be that The World to Come or whatever it is, that's going to be a complete shock to me. But okay, sorry, let's talk about The Queen's Gambit.
There's still another film to talk about
I know.
before that.
Oh, but then obviously, I'm now, otherwise I would have just said your pick is that. I'm just saying if it is your pick.
All right. Well, we'll get to it in a couple of minutes, but yeah, The Queen's Gambit is not going to be my pick, and I just want to say I did enjoy the show. I did not understand the huge hype that's behind it.
Okay.
But it is fun, but especially during the last couple of episodes, it became so cheesy. And there's
what is
this
it about?
one.
What is it about?
All right, if you don't know what The Queen's Gambit is about, it's a fictitious story about a young chess player who is, well, female. It's a big part of the story. And it plays during the 1950s up towards the 1960s. It starts with her being orphaned and growing up in an orphanage, and they're meeting a janitor who introduced her to the game, and then he notices that she's a jazz prodigy and that she's amazing, and it's about her growing up.
Prodigy.
A chess prodigy. I don't know, maybe she would have been good at jazz too. All right. But yeah, it is an interesting film, and it makes you want to play chess.
It's not even a film.
I'm sorry, it's a TV show of 7 episodes,
it's
about
Netflix,
an hour each.
Yeah.
It is a Netflix original, right? And the funny thing is, one of the actors starring in the show is an actor that whose name I should have Googled, because I keep forgetting his name, but we've talked about him quite a bit in this podcast.
Okay.
It is
Bill Kemp.
Bill Kemp. Is it Bill Kemp? No,
Yeah,
it is not Bill Kemp.
It's
Bill
definitely
Kemp
Bill Kemp.
It is. Have we talked about Bill Kemp before in this podcast?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But no, it is.
I thought he's in that.
He is. Bill Kemp is the janitor who teaches her chess, but I'm talking about, give me a second, Harry Melling.
Yeah, I got you.
We talked about it before during The Devil all the time, and right. I think one time before that as well.
Yeah, he was in, what else was he in? He was in one other thing.
Well, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, we might have mentioned him there.
Right.
I mean, the film came out quite a time
it's
ago.
Neville Longbottom, right?
Yeah, from Harry Potter.
The old guard. The old guard. He plays the bad guy in the old guard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see him, but
he's in everything.
Yeah, I guess so. Good for him. He's finally got his breakthrough with a lot of Netflix things. But yeah, good for him.
I'm surprised that this is not your pick because I haven't seen the show, but I'm just hearing the best things about it.
It is good, but especially I think in the last episode, there's this incredibly cheesy scene that just pissed me off so much. Somebody just emerging from the background, and there's this reveal. I'm like, oh my god, it's terrible. But the cool thing is, apparently, all the chess games could be real chess games. So every move they make is a real move, and she actually memorized all the things that she does. And during the speed chess scenes, they actually play a real game.
Right.
Which is very cool. And some of the games, especially the big ones, are based on real life tournaments and games with world masters or grandmasters, etc. That's pretty cool, and it make me want to play chess again because I used to play a bit.
Yeah.
More as a hobby. I'm not in any way a good chess player. Don't get me wrong.
It's like with another round that we saw last week.
Makes you want to drink.
wanted to drink. Now you want to play chess.
But I think I'm better at drinking than at chess. But the thing is,
don't ever watch like a bungee jumping documentary.
But yeah, the Queen's Gambit. Also, the reason why it is called the Queen's Gambit. There's a chess opening called the Queen's Gambit that kind of plays a bit of a role.
I got you. And obviously, the main star is Anya Taylor-Joy, who's
great.
Split and Glass and Emma. Cool
thing is, she is supposed to play. I guess cool thing. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this, but there's a Furiosa spin-off to be made by George Miller, and the young Furiosa is supposed to be played by her.
Right.
And
which is
if
the
you don't know
Mad
Furiosa,
Max.
she is one of the protagonists from Mad Max Fury Road, played by Charlize Theron in the original. Which is I think she's a good cast for that film, but I don't think it's necessary. I think if they're going to do another film with her, I think they should do one with Charlize Theron. But
yes, I completely agree. But I think they're planning to do like a regular sequel too with Charlize, no?
I guess so. And there's also supposed to be one with Tom Hardy playing Max Rokitansky again. But
that's what I'm saying. Like a
I think
sequel to Fury Road, no?
I'm not sure if she is in that one.
I'm not
sure. He's playing like 2 or 3. I think George Miller's playing like 2 or 3 Mad Max projects, which is weird.
It's like Jim Cameron with Avatar.
Yeah, and the thing is, the film with Tom Hardy in it already had a name and had a poster like 2 years ago, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
Then I think they scrapped the project, and maybe now they're starting it up again. It's weird.
It is.
But anyway,
I haven't seen it. I was gonna. If you had picked this, I would have considered watching this because. Well, it was on my list, but I haven't gotten around to it this week. But
it still is a good show. I think it was just too hyped up for me, and towards the end, there are a couple of things that I did not like, just from a storytelling perspective.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and there's this one weird scene. Sorry, I have to mention this. Like once or twice, but especially one time, they're in Las Vegas, and it seems there's this wide shot of like the camera, like from a helicopter's perspective, I guess, looking down the street in a hotel and then kind of zooming in. It looks like CGI from the 90s. It's so weird. No, I guess a bit better because you're like, is this real? Is this just incredibly weird how they filmed it and how they built the set, or is this weird CGI? It seems like CGI from The Matrix, like some of the fight scenes. You kind of see how it is, kind of looks kind of good, but it still seems so incredibly fake. I don't know.
Okay,
it's weird. It's so weird. Anyway, like there's 2 things left, I guess, for you.
Well, I don't. You shouldn't know that, but there. Oh yeah, there are. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. How do you know that there's 2 things?
Well,
I'm so confused.
I'm guessing that Nomadland is not your pick, and if Nomadland is not your pick, there has
to
be another film. Because you said it's such a difficult pick that you had to make this week.
You paid attention. I'm proud of you.
If you said it was difficult, I'm gonna guess it's not Nomadland because I think you expected it to be Nomadland.
Oh, dude, you know me well, yeah.
Very good.
Well, I'm still deciding between the 2, and I don't love either one. What is your pick?
Oh wow. Well, my pick is not Nomadland. Which
are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Makes it
now it's the most outrageous thing. Are you kidding me? That shit was good.
It was. I loved it.
Oh my fucking god! I planned on buying tickets, and I was like, I'm not gonna sit through this shit. It's like 2 hours of medieval bullshit or whatever. It's not medieval.
Medieval?
No, it's not medieval, but it's
century.
Another period piece or whatever. No. Okay, let's save your pick though, right?
Well,
let's talk about Nomadland.
let's
Well,
talk
we
about
talked about
Nomadland.
everything. It's not my pick either. I'm gonna say pick the other thing. I'm surprised this is not your pick either.
It was
The World
close,
to Come
but
is
the
your
thing
pick.
is,
What an outrageous pick! Most outrageous thing I've ever seen.
I
Just
think-
picking that because I haven't seen it. Let's be honest. Come on.
no, I did like Nomadland quite a bit, just because it is such a real
5.7.
story.
5.7 on IMDb.
I know it was
Doesn't mean anything.
5.6 or something.
You bumped it up with a 10.
I didn't give it a 10. I gave it an 8 with a like.
Can't like on IMDb. Whatever. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
But-
Let's talk about Nomadland.
Yeah, Nomadland. If you don't know what Nomadland is, which I think most people don't, unless you're into films and kind of follow up on films, but it's about Frances McDormand, a very
You did not
famous
know what
actress.
this movie was about like 3
I know,
weeks
I
ago.
I didn't.
And you're into movies.
I know. But then again, I don't follow up on plots anyway.
Well, yeah, okay.
But yeah. No, it's the main protagonist is played by Frances McDormand, who plays a woman who lost her job, lost everything pretty much, and then becomes a nomad driving her van around the US, doing different jobs and living out of her van and being part of this community. And it is about that community. And I think some of the people
Yes.
starring in this film
Yes.
are actually real nomads.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of candid stories and people in this film, which make it so cool. And I think we've said this a couple of times now, but I hate saying this because it makes me sound like a douche.
Oh, I love it. What are you gonna say?
But the cinematography in this film was fucking mind-blowing. It was so beautiful. Jesus Christ. The pictures and all the things that you see are so well done and so beautiful that just for that alone, the film is just great. In my opinion.
I agree, but I was sitting there and I was wondering. I mean, that this is me being very like naive, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't sort of the nature do most of the cinematography for them? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yes, but you can shoot it in a very different way and it would look completely different.
I
Just the
agree.
way they shot and framed scenes, just this scene where she leaves her van and she's in this van commune and then she goes out.
Oh, the
talks
tracking
with
shot.
people, and the
Yeah,
tracking
yeah.
shot, beautiful. And the very last shot as well, beautiful shot.
Which is the trailer, by the way. You love the last shot? Oh
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I mixed up the last shot. I remember it now. But the trailer was just the tracking shot in the middle. Beautiful trailer, like one of the better trailers I've seen because it doesn't give away anything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you also, I guess you also saw the little video by Frances McDormand
So
of the
it didn't even.
director.
Yeah. Chloe Zhao.
Yeah, Chloe Zhao.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother to like say Vienna or whatever. This was just like a standard like message that they could play at every film festival.
Maybe,
Which
yeah.
not maybe. 100%. Just telling us to shut off our phones. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it, but yeah. I mean, it was better than nothing. But like Mats Mikkelsen, for example, they addressed
They called
Vienna.
us out.
Yeah. He called me after the show. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
He called each and every one of us.
he did. Wanted to go out for a beer.
Yeah.
Well,
but what did you think of the film?
I
in
agree with
general?
what you said. I think the best thing about it is the main performance, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you said that, but that is, and the cinematography or the pictures. I thought it was a very beautiful looking film, but it was slow
It
and
was
a
very
bit
slow,
of a
but
drag.
It
And-
was a kind of a different film, and
But one I
the-
couldn't really get into.
I talked with the person I went with, a colleague of mine, a friend of mine. We talked about this film after the film ended. I was like, "What do you think of the film?" And he said that it's not really a film that he can like divide into either it's a good film, it's a bad film. It was an experience more like, and it's more of a even kind of close to a documentary kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of showing an inside view of how those people live and how they act and what that life is like in a more cinematic way than an actual documentary.
Yeah.
And I very much agree with that. And it's very interesting from that point. Just from if you want to see a story play out, I wouldn't recommend this film.
Right.
But it is a very intimate and very beautiful look into a way of life that I wouldn't have known anything about if I hadn't seen this film.
Yeah. Yeah, very well said. And I'm just one of those moviegoers who appreciates a story more than what you just said. That's just me.
I get it, sure. And my favorite films are films that tell an incredible story.
Right.
But
It was funny
Sure.
because I did get into it a couple of times, but it happened every single one of those times. For me, they cut away too early in those scenes. For example, there's a scene where she's like sleeping or lying in her van in the bed, and she's watching a picture of her husband.
Yeah.
Beautiful scene. But the moment I was like really into it, or like, that sounds stupid, but whatever, they cut away. And I wish they would have stayed on that shot longer. Same thing happened when she was driving and you saw landscape. They cut away again too early for me. I really noticed it a couple of times.
A lot of hard cuts with the setting changing from one cut to another.
Right.
But I think it's funny that you said that the shots weren't long enough for you, because I thought they were. They have a whole lot of very long takes.
I agree. It's weird for me too, but for whatever reason, it occurred a couple of times where I felt like I wish they would have left it a bit longer.
Funny, I didn't notice that, but
yeah, you're gonna
maybe
watch it
if I watch it a second time. Yeah.
And the other thing is, and that just sums it up for me, there's not really one scene that sticks out, and that's just a bit of a, that I always like movies that sort of stay in my mind, and that one is sort of gonna leave my mind rather sooner than later. And I was looking forward to this. I was hearing great things about it. I'm a big fan of Frances McDormand, as you said, and yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good. It didn't blow me away.
Yeah. I guess I expected something very different as well, but then again, I knew nothing of the film. So,
Yeah.
and sorry, please go on.
Well, I was also talking with the person that I saw it with, and I was like concerned that she didn't like it because I didn't even enjoy it that much. She was like, I've always wanted to drive a van, and like I've always wanted to like go on a trip like that. And I was like, oh,
Perfect.
well, great. I hope you're being genuine. I don't want to like. I was, as I said, I didn't even enjoy it that much. I was like, oh gosh, what is she going to say? But apparently she enjoyed it, which was good. Yeah, but like just sort of like, like with another round, you want to drink. With Gambit, you want with Queen's Gambit, you want to play chess, and now you want to drive a van and just go, throw your life away. Let's just drive into Nomadland or whatever. Right. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that you mentioned that there wasn't one scene that stood out for you, and I agree. There was never this one piece of dialogue or that kind of scene that very much stood out for me. But what stood out for me were just those pictures in the very last shot that stayed in my mind so much.
You love the last shot? That's interesting.
I do love it, yeah.
It was a bit... I felt a couple of times in the movie that I was watching the last shot, but then there was another scene. And then at the end, it was like, okay, well, apparently this is the one that they chose for the last one. It was just another one, But, okay.
I think it was just very fitting. But just the scenes, also the one that you talked about with, like, the cliffs.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful.
Did you mention that?
I don't think I did.
Yeah. Maybe I just thought of it just the whole time when you said there were these shots. And that shot stayed in my mind so much. And even the tracking shot that we talked about before.
Yeah, beautiful shot. You can look that up in the trailer.
Yeah, please do. All right. Well, I guess we're going to come to the best thing that we've seen picks. And the best thing that I've seen all week is, we mentioned it before,
Outrageous.
The World to Come, which I also knew nothing about. And we talked about films that we were going to see at the Biennale, and I think it's the only thing that I've seen this year that Flo hasn't, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I want to say
I watched The World to Come. It's like a huge twist. I was in the row behind you. I was the guy who was coughing the whole time.
It is also your pick. Beautiful.
It is my pick, yeah.
And like you mentioned like a couple of minutes ago, it doesn't have great ratings, which shouldn't be all that one relies on. And you have to say it doesn't have great user ratings, but on IMDb it has 195 ratings as of today, November 6th. But it has a meta score of 89. So,
right. Who did you see this with? Like, or
the same friend that I saw Nomadland.
What did he think?
He liked it as well. I don't know if he liked it as much as me, but I said this to him as well. I think one of the reasons I liked it so much is I decided to like it right from the start.
What does that mean?
Because the opening credits and just how the film kind of opens I just fell in love with that, and I was like, dude, I'm going to love this film. And you know what? I did love it. Maybe if I had seen it with less, or I guess more of an open mind, maybe there are a couple of things that would have stood out to me, and I was like, maybe that wasn't that great, maybe that was better. But I just loved the film just from the get-go, because it opens with this.
Yeah.
With the opening credits, it's just on a hand-drawn map. Just all of the credits, also the closing credits, all done with a font that looks like it was written by hand. And it's on an old map of the US. And just, I love it, because the closing credits, all of the closing credits, every last piece of text that was on the credits, was just looked like it was handwritten and like on the background of like a parchment.
You know what this reminds me of?
So beautiful.
That's the Endgame credits. It's the Avengers Endgame credits. Well, it's not on parchment, but it's all of them leaving their signature, signing off.
Right, but the thing is, I love it because in most films that one watches, is just the closing credits are kind of done in a special way, like Avengers, and then after like 1 minute or something like that, it changes to the classic white text on black background.
Right.
That's all of the credits. But just I loved it because it felt much more personal, I guess. And
so what is it about? Yeah, sorry.
Done in this kind of font, because it is about something completely different than I thought. Because I read part of the synopsis on IMDb, and I was like, dude, I don't want to know what this film is about, so I stopped reading. I did it more automatically, and I stopped right at the word battle. And I thought it was about two families battling each other, but it was them battling the weather and like trying to survive in like the frontier of the upper east coast of America in the 19th century. And it is about a wife and husband who've lost their child at the very beginning of the film, and then she kind of tells the story through her diary entries, which you see her write. And then another couple moving in close by. I mean, back in those days when you had a farm like they did, close by doesn't mean like next door neighbors, but close enough that people can visit each other.
Right.
And she kind of strikes up a friendship with the woman who moved in close by, and them becoming friends and getting to know each other and their relationship forming. And it was something completely different than what I expected. And it was so beautifully done. Also beautifully shot, just the weather and how it was done. And just, I think some great performances as well. And you got, Casey Affleck in it. And I think the only actors that I actually knew were Casey Affleck and the main protagonist, Kathleen Waterston, yeah. But I only knew her from very few films as well.
Vanessa
you might know her from... What?
Well, the other actress that she falls in love with, I guess I haven't seen the movie, is Vanessa Kirby.
Yes, but I haven't seen her in anything.
Oh.
I think...
Mission Impossible.
Well, she is in The Crown and things like that, but I don't think, or I didn't remember any particular film that I saw with her. Oh, it wasn't About Time. I guess I saw something with her.
Well, she's in the last Mission... I think, was it the last one? Mission Impossible, and also in Hobbs and Shaw.
All right, two films
Jason
that I didn't
Statham's
see.
Sister.
Right. But she was pretty good in this film.
Yeah, she's a good actress. Yeah, she's got one other film coming out this year, which is supposed to be really good. I would have to look it up. I just remember her being sort of in contention for awards, maybe.
She is in the next two Mission Impossibles.
Right.
The Brutalist, whatever the fuck that is, and
Pieces of a Woman.
Italian Studies.
Yeah, Pieces of a Woman is supposed to be really good. It's got a 5.8, but it's
great.
Like festival score. It's supposed to be really good.
Yeah,
sorry, but yeah, I have not watched this movie. It wasn't of interest to me, but apparently it's could you compare it to any other film that I might have seen?
It reminded me a bit of A Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah,
just from the style of
sure.
Two women being secluded and then getting to know each other and them being not happy with their lives.
It sounds very much the same. Yeah.
From that part, but them being married opens up a whole new.
Is one of them painter by any chance?
No, but one does write. Sure, she's
a
bit of an artist. Well, she also apparently writes poetry, she said.
Right.
But I think it was just a beautiful film, and just not just from the pictures, but also from the story. And I think Casey Affleck was also very good in this one.
He's a great actor. I love him.
He is, yeah.
Well, let's get to a film that you haven't seen. So just we
Please.
round up this episode. It's like we about a lot of things that the other person hasn't seen. My pick of the week. I'm still like, it should have been Nomadland. I'm going with this now. I'm going to pick On the Rocks, which is the latest Sofia Coppola film.
All right.
Who did
I know you're
Lost
a
in
huge
Translation.
fan of, like, The Bling Ring.
The Bling Ring is one of my favorite movies,
Yeah.
yes. I'm happy that you remember that. Sarcasm.
Yeah, in case you didn't catch that, yeah. Sarcasm.
But I think I liked The Beguiled. I think that was her last movie with Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman. But On the Rocks, this was in theaters here in limited release, but it has been on Apple TV Plus. I still don't know how to say it. Which I'm happy to report my membership has been prolonged. I've done anything, yeah? Huh?
What do you mean it has been prolonged?
Well, they added like 6 months.
Because?
I don't know. They just literally, I got an email from Apple and said, enjoy these 6 months for free. Maybe because of the whole virus or whatever.
Well, good of them.
Yeah. And because it was supposed to run out in November, but now I have it till March, which is great. But On the Rocks, Sofia Coppola, and this stars Bill Murray and Rashida Jones. And I think we mentioned this before. I'm not a huge fan of Bill Murray.
Yes, we talked about this before.
I like Rashida Jones. I think she's a great actress, very underused actress, and stars in a little film called The Social Network as Marilyn Delpy. You know what? I was so confident I need to look up if her name is correct. I'm just like... what did I say?
Jennifer Delpy?
Marilyn... What are you talking about? Marilyn Delpy. Yeah, it's correct. All right, I'm happy. But this is one of those films where I actually really liked Bill Murray. And that
finally
that is enough for me to have this as my pick. And basically what this movie is about. Rashida Jones, I think she's an aspiring writer. I'm not quite sure if she has written anything before, but basically she's stuck in the process of writing. She has 2 kids, and she suspects her husband is cheating on her because he's always at work. He rarely has time for her. And if he's not at work, he's like out partying with his work friends, or he's on vacation or on business trips or whatever.
Is her husband played by any known actor?
Bill Murray.
Really?
No.
All right.
Yes. I'm gonna look up the name because I don't want to get it wrong. It is Marlon Wayans. It's Damon Wayans' son, I think.
Who?
The guy who was in
Wayne's World.
No. Boy Scout. What was that? Bill, the Bruce Willis film, The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah.
I think that's with Damon Wayans, and he was also in that show, My Wife and Kids. You'll know it under the German name. Hold on, because it was always on TV. Oh, What's Up, Dad? That's the German name. What's Up, Dad? You remember this?
Dude, yeah, I'm just looking up Marlon Wayans as well. Yeah.
And
I know him from somewhere. Yeah, he does like all those weird spoof films that are
Major
coming out.
Payne. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Scary movie, right? Scary movie.
I think Marlon Wayans is his son. I mean, it's not like they might be
Whose
like
son?
Well, Damon Wayans.
And Damon, and where did he star in?
No, Damon Wayans is the guy from What's Up, Dad. And in On the Rocks, it stars Marlon Wayans.
I thought Marlon Wayans was also a character on the show, but not like the protagonist. Right.
No, Marlon Wayans, which I assume is his son, stars in On the Rocks as Rashida Jones' husband.
They do look quite similar, I guess.
Well, they have the same last name.
That also, yeah, dude, that doesn't have to mean.
No, I know.
Anyway, let's move on.
I would.
Let's not get caught up in that.
Yeah. I mean, they might be related in a different way, but I'm just assuming it's his son. And basically, Bill Murray plays her father, Rashida Jones' father. And what it is about is them sort of, he plays this like playboy type character. And, but they have such a great relationship with each other because she's like calling him out on his behavior. But he's like, he doesn't care. He's just continues to live his life because he's apparently very wealthy in the movie and always in a little bit of a ladies' man. And then basically the main plot is sort of him realizing that her husband might be cheating on her, and then he's trying to figure out if he actually is cheating. And he's like pressing her to like stalk him and look at his phone and, you know, check his messages. And then they also go on the same business trip in order, like, they want to spy on him if he's actually like cheating on her and stuff. But where the movie shines is just the interaction between Rashida Jones and Bill Murray's character. They're really, really, I think they're both excellent in the movie. And what I didn't like was the ending. It was so predictable. And maybe the fact that I'm saying it now gives away things that I shouldn't, but it doesn't make or break the film, the ending. It's just, as I said, it's more of the interaction between the two of them. And it's a nice, fun, like 1:40, I think 1 hour 40 movie that's just, you know, shut your brain off and enjoy a movie. It's a very light movie as opposed to Nomadland, which I thought was a bit of a drag at times. This goes by really, really quickly.
Oh, I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds like a film that I'm going to watch in like 2 or 3 years and going to be like, all right, this was fun.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. It's not revolutionary. It isn't. But there's some funny scenes in there as well. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. It was unfortunately a week where nothing really stood out to me, even though I saw quite a bit. And I feel like I spent like less time talking about my actual pick than we talked about everything else. But it's just, I got nothing more to say, really. I was looking forward to that movie, and it sort of delivered for what it was.
I think you gave a pretty good rundown of what the film is like.
Could you tell me what the movie's about to see if I did a good job?
Rashida Jones being unhappy in a marriage because her husband or boyfriend is
Who's played by?
Marlon Wayans.
Oh, yeah, cool. Thank you. Was he in What's Up, Dad?
No, I think his dad or maybe uncle or...
Oh, it was his dad?
Somehow relative.
I got you.
Yeah,
what else was he
maybe
in?
What
else was his father in?
The Last Boy Scout.
Oh, The Last Boy Scout. Yes, right.
Dude, I feel like I'm doing an exam right
I know.
now, so...
You're doing good so far.
Thank you. And then her dad helping her out and trying to find out what is going on, who is a bit of a playboy and played by Bill Murray. How is that
It was good. It's good. Yeah. Ask me what your movie was about.
Yeah, please do. What is the world to come about?
I got absolutely no idea.
All right, fuck
Is
you.
it like this medieval movie?
The good old medieval times in
Stars
the 19th
the
century.
girl from Mission Impossible. No, that was it.
Yeah, and from Alien Covenant.
Right.
The other one.
Catherine Waterston. Yeah, she's the daughter of Sam Waterston, who is a great actor who is in the Newsroom and many other things. And
she's also a great actress.
Yeah, she is. She's very good. Yeah.
I think most people might know her from
Beasts. Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts, right?
Okay. Yeah, I was first there. Happy about that. It's the little things. But stupid or whatever. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm rambling now.
I think we also, once again, like mentioned half of the directors. So why not go out and mention the other ones as well? So Shirley was also by a female director, Josephine Decker.
Yes.
And The World to Come, once again, a female director, Mona Fastvold. And if you missed it, Nomadland was by Chloe Zhao.
Yep. Something like that.
Like you mentioned, On the Rocks. Sofia Coppola, of course, the daughter of legendary director Francis Ford Coppola, director of The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, and I think we could go on for a while.
I was going to say, which also starred Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando made it.
Marlon Brando has the same name as Marlon
Are they related by any chance? Well, and also we got The Queen's Gambit. I'm looking this up now, directed by Scott Frank.
Two male. Well, the directors were both male.
Just one director, apparently. Scott Frank.
Really?
Yeah. According to IMDb.
Also the creator, yeah.
And The Human Voice, Pedro Almodovar, who, please look up his filmography, great director.
And Intimate. I've seen anything by him.
I think you did. You watched that Banderas film, The Skin I Live In.
Right, that's true. That's true. A great film.
There you go.
But I still haven't gotten to see, please say the title.
Well, no, that's not him. You mean
that's not him?
De sus ojos? No. That is directed by, oh my gosh.
Dude, you have to know this.
Oh, that is such a pull, dude. I got nothing. I don't want to look this up. I know this. I 100%
I would love to
know
Google
this.
it, but I don't know how to spell it.
Well, it's the secret in their eyes.
The secret in their eyes.
Oh, dude. I don't want to wait too long now, but if you give me the initials, I can pull this.
There it is.
Oh, dude,
JJC.
What?
He's got 2 first names and 1 last name.
JC?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an Argentinian guy? Sounds like a...
It is a Spanish-sounding name, yes.
I'm not going to be able to pull this.
Especially his 2 first names are quite popular names.
This is going to bother me, but I'm going to need you... tell me the first name, maybe?
Juan.
Sure. Tell me the second
Jose.
name. Right.
Campanella.
Yeah, I would not have gotten this. But, it rings a bell. But unfortunately, I did not pass the exam. You win today.
By Googling him, thank you very much.
No, but you passed your exam. That's what I meant.
Oh, thank you.
I asked you. I didn't get this one. Last one we got Intimate Distances, directed by Philip Warnell. If you want to list every director we talking about today.
Yeah, I think
that's it.
Still an interesting week.
What an episode! Yeah,
I am glad that I went to watch The World to Come because I wasn't sure about it. But
you gotta be kidding me!
I'm glad I did. Yeah, dude, it's a film that I'm.
You think I would have enjoyed that movie?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
To be honest, I don't think so.
Thank you. Because it's sophisticated, right?
Yeah. Well, a part of the film that I absolutely love is one of Vanessa Kirby's character has got this long, fake, wavy red hair in the film, which they kind of talk about once or twice.
I'm intrigued.
And then I know you love red hair.
I do.
You guy.
Happy that you didn't say anything else there.
Yeah. The credits, towards the end of the credits, I just saw Vanessa Kirby's hair by and then a wig company, which just made me laugh. I don't know why.
It's a great insight into your humor.
Non-existent. All right.
Right.
It's been a long episode.
Some interesting picks. We got through a lot, but it was still enjoyable. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's special episode.
Me too.
It's going to be an interesting one.
If you managed to listen to us for nearly an hour now, thank you so much.
We're going to cut a lot.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it so much. And if you want to find us on any other podcast platforms, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on YouTube, pretty much anywhere that you can find podcasts under The Best Thing We've Seen. I'm sorry, The Best Thing We've Seen.
That's the spin-off.
Podcast. It is, yeah. It's a fan-made.
Yeah. Did you make it?
Sure did. Yeah. You can find us under Best Thing We've Seen podcast. You can find us at Best Thing Radio on Instagram and Twitter, where you can check out our great cover design that flows designs every week. Also on YouTube, it's the thumbnail. Check us out. Give us a like on maybe another platform if you listen to us on Spotify. Maybe check us out on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. Maybe a comment. A review on Apple Podcasts. Anything helps. It would be so great of you. If not, it's all right. I guess we can't check. But yeah, thank you so much, and we love you.
Yeah, I'm going to go study Juan Jose Campanella's filmography now. That's not going to happen again.
Dude, I'm going to study another person's filmography because we're going to do a special next week, and there's still so many things I have to watch.
Well done. Smooth.
So check that out next week. We're very excited, as always, for our next special episode.
Yes. Thank you. That's it. Have a good week, and take care, and stay safe, and maybe watch something to take your mind off this horrendous world that we live in these days.
Dude,
have a good
our
one.
talk helped a lot to take off my mind right now, so...
There you go.
Bye.
Take care.
It's
Bye-bye.
been nice. Bye.
Bye-bye.